Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Omer Jamal, founder and CEO of Atlas. Omer, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me on this show, Epi. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, likewise, and looking forward to this conversation. Omer, let's start first in the beginning before you started Atlas and Atlas existed. What was the moment that made you realize most services businesses were not losing because of bad marketing or bad sales, but because they were simply failing to respond when opportunity knocked on the door?
Yeah, for sure. Frankly speaking, I've been in the AI space now since 2017. One of my first companies in the AI space was a lead generation marketplace that was generating about 8,000 leads per month for financial advisors. And, we work with more than 700 firms. We were generating 8,000 leads a month for them. Every time that we took a lead and we handed it over to them, they were horrible at following up with those leads. So generating leads at that volume gives you the pain point that, folks are not that good at following up with those leads. And we tried everything. We tried to give them human call centers. We tried to give them human staff to get back to those leads. We designated internal staff to get back to those leads, but nothing ever works. So really when the new generation of AI came out with the new GPT models in 2022, and they got a lot better in 2023 with voice and iMessage. That's an area that we went down and we started solving that problem, and it's been tremendous since then. But that was really how I figured out that this is a massive pain for people, and now AI can do the job way better than what humans ever could, because humans take a lot longer to follow up with those leads.
Yeah. There's this old saying in marketing is the holy grail of marketing is retargeting, and the holy grail of sales is follow up.
That's correct. The juice is in the follow up, is what they say.
That's it. And I know because I've been part of one of just training, the sales training, and we've gone through some of those. And we never understood before when we took that training that it takes an average 7 to 13 follow ups to close a deal.
That's correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So now you're doing this with the systemized way and AI voice conversation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we do a systemized way with AI voice conversations. We also have AI iMessage. We call it Atlas Blue to have two-way conversations with those leads. So it looks like a real life human rep is following up with those leads back and forth.
That's amazing. And what was the conviction that you said this is the way to go?
Yeah, listen, it's one of those things where the juice is in the follow up, right? And most sales managers today are requesting their salespeople to follow up with those leads at all time. There's businesses with like 6,000, 10,000 leads in the CRM that just haven't heard from that customer, right? There's a lot of follow up that goes on to actually convert a lead. Then a ton of businesses spend a lot of marketing dollars to actually generate those leads, right? You might generate, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 leads a day, but the follow up in those leads takes 10 hours, 12 hours, some cases 24 hours, some cases 36 hours. So there's really a big gap in following up with those leads fast enough. And there's been numerous Harvard studies on this too, that if you follow up with a lead within 5 minutes, you increase the likelihood of closing that lead by 7 times. So Atlas, the formation of Atlas is to solve that problem, to solve for after hours service, to solve for speed to lead, and to solve for outbound dead lead reactivation. So having been in the industry since 2017, generate 8,000 leads a month, the conviction just came from experience, because humans just don't follow up with those leads. So really our thesis is stop hiring, start cloning, and AI can do a better job at this mundane task of following up with those leads.
And I assume it's like just talk to a human, right?
Yeah, it's human like. 92% of people cannot tell if it's a human or an AI. It sounds real, it converses real, it has emojis, it has reactions, it's empathetic, and it always stays on script. It never deviates away, and it knows your business inside out. So it's phenomenal, and we have more than 18,000 users that utilize our platform as it stands today.
That's amazing. So is that replacing the SDRs, or they're replacing also the top tier salespeople?
Yeah, that's a good question. So to me, it complements what an SDR does, right? It frees up the SDR to do more high value tasks, and it opens up that mundane follow up or lead qualification that the SDR is tasked to do, where the SDR can now do some of the AE work or the top level salespeople work. So it's primarily focused towards junior level salespeople.
Yeah, interesting. So, in which industry is it? Is it mostly like in a particular industry, or is like a
Yeah, yeah, we're very big in primarily 3 big industries. Home services is big, right? So think like tree services, like pest control, landscaping. We're very big in professional services, so think lawyers, accountants, realtors, so to speak. And then the third largest industry is healthcare, right? We got some really large hospitals, some optical stores, some chiropractors utilizing us anywhere. In those three buckets fits in very, very well.
amazing? So, builders, founders often start as builders, then become managers, and eventually become leaders of leaders. Which transition challenged your identity the most, and what did you have to go to personally to grow into the next stage? It started 2017. Obviously,
Yeah,
you're
that's
different person today, right?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. At heart, I'm a builder. I'm a founder and operator at heart. So, whenever a problem is thrown at me, I'm the first to act and to go and build a solution to it or find a solution to it, so to speak. But as you said, an entrepreneur always goes through those tiers as the business gets larger and larger. And to me, the biggest identity gap comes when you become a leader of other leaders. So to me, leaders always create leaders, but it's incredibly tough to do that, right? Not everybody's has gone through the same learning that you might have. Not everybody has taken the top 0.01% of performance level expectations that you have for yourself. They might not do that in their own staffs, in their own personal lives. So to me, the toughest identity gap has always been that when you become a leader and you have 30, 40 staff members, how do you coach and mentor, how do you build the people up so that they can carry forward your legacy and carry forward the operation of the business in a move forward way? Now, there's tons of books on the topic, there's tons of YouTube video on the topic, there's tons of mentors that I've discussed this topic with, but it is incredibly challenging, and I think it challenges you in ways that you might not even be aware of. So for me personally, that was the biggest one.
Yeah. Yeah, getting that, being better version of yourself, it comes with challenging and getting uncomfortable, right?
Mhm.
Now, Omer, there's growing fear that AI will replace people. From your perspective, what job disappear? What jobs become more valuable? And what skills will separate the winners from everyone else over the next decade, do you think?
Yeah, like I think that's a really, really interesting question where the world is changing so fast. And I remember being asked this question years and years ago, and I honestly don't believe my answer has changed, even with how fast the world of AI has moved. Because I think what AI and any technological movement, if you take a look at the industrial revolution or the internet revolution or the mobile revolution, it created a ton of jobs that never existed before, right? You have mobile developers, you have nowadays people are creators with their phones that just didn't exist as a career choice maybe 15, 20 years ago. So same thing happened with internet, same thing happened in the industrial revolution. And I think the same thing is happening with AI. So now you have forward deployed engineers who live in people's businesses to help them deploy AI. You have prompt engineering, you have different types of implementation firms that have sort of formed up, so to speak, to help implementation within businesses. I like to call it, you're managing intelligence now versus the service itself. So to me is an amazing technology, and it's only going to grow from here. It's only going to grow way, way, way bigger. And it's going to create a ton of jobs. I think it's going to free up people from their traditional jobs, but it's going to open up way more higher value tasks for humans to attribute their knowledge towards. And it's frankly speaking something that I'm really, really excited about as a pioneer in the space.
Yeah. Do you hear this or do you see? Because I have this sense of like when I'm talking to people, everybody's overwhelmed. And we're in this stage, maybe probably because there's so much innovations happening with tools and that there's just so much. So many things going on. Everybody's overwhelmed. Everybody's trying to do many things, but later on in the years to come, that will kind of settle, and we'll have a pretty good path when it comes to the having a human doing these high value tasks, and then let the AI do that. Do you see that's what we're because I see this, everybody's overwhelmed these days.
Yeah, I mean, what used to take 10 years now happens in 10 months. That's the reason everybody's overwhelmed, right? There's just so much movement that's happening in the world of AI where every 2 weeks there's a new model. Recently, Claude, the highest tier model, just got recently shut down by the US government. There's open source models. There's different types of loops. Loop engineering is a new thing that just came out 2 weeks ago. Before that, it was how to harness your agents and whatnot. So I believe the reason why everybody's overwhelmed is because we've never seen technology move at this speed, right? If you were to use technology, AI back in 2022 when GPT came out, and I've been using it since 2017, which was just automation at the time. 2022, ChatGPT came out and it just kind of took over the world by a storm. Since then, the improvement that we've had in the last 3 years is just absolutely wild. So the speed at what this is moving, it's impossible to keep up. Maybe it's the speed that only AI keeps up, and we just have to figure out with pre-selection of where to focus our efforts towards. But I believe that's the reason why people are overwhelmed. I myself am overwhelmed, and I think it's about filtration, focusing on the right things. I think as an industry, we're all charting the path ahead to figure out how to deal with that.
Yeah. Now imagine we're sitting here 10 years from now, and Atlas looks at it like achieves everything you envision, what that looks like for you.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's all about making an impact, right? Today, we serve about 18,000 business users. I'd like to be at a million business users 10 years from today. And I think that's a very realistic possibility because there's 33 million businesses, small to medium sized businesses in the United States. I see no reason as to why we can't serve one in 33 of those. I think AI is a technology just like the internet, right? If you take a look at internet, if you're a business owner and you don't use the internet, you're in Stone Age. AI is one of those pieces that every single business owner has to adapt some sort of AI into their business. If they don't, they are going to be behind because we're still in the 1997 era of the internet age. And this thing is moving, it's moving fast. It's like I said, you got to stop hiring, you got to start cloning, and the forward thinking business owners already are doing it. So 10 years from today, I only seen that compound even more and more.
Yeah, it's like, using the type machine versus the Word document, right?
Yeah, yeah. Speed over efficiency all day.
Yeah. Omer, I like to ask this question to all my guests, and that is about the word bold. What does that mean to you personally?
That's a great question. So to me, bold means charting the path ahead, right? Having the courage, the determination, the strength to move ahead without falling to the naysayers or when things aren't working in your favor, getting punched in the face and getting back off. So to me, the word bold is one of those words that you're always forging ahead towards a North Star that you have with a very deterministic approach towards your North Star.
Yeah. Good way to wrap up this conversation. Omer, great seeing you. Thank you for joining this Bold Talk series. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always. Bye bye.
Great to speak with you. Bye bye.